course, there was a communication gap between us and the table, which resulted in the name not being there, sir. But nevertheless, sir, I leave it to you. And of course, you have all the inherent powers, sir, for your indulgence, sir. So with deep anguish today, I must say that when the country is going through the period of what they call it the Amrit Kal, it is not prosperity, but it is poverty and the loud cries of the common man which are resonating all across the nation, sir. All very honorable, experienced members across the parties, while speaking, sir, I can sum it up and say the whole summary was cradle to crematorium. From cradle to crematorium, the kind of agony the country and the poor people are facing has very explicitly been described in this house, sir. So all I can add to that is, after the debate, probably, अगर कुछ बचा आदमी के पास, तो उनके विलनामा में कुछ GST का provision अंतिम यात्रा के लिए रखना चाहिए, so that he'll have a nice farewell before leaving this earth, sir. Sir, I mean, my question, sir, is between September 2021 and April 2022, the consumer food price inflation in India has risen from 0.68 to 8.38 year on year, sir. Currently, it stands at 7.1%. The wholesale price index was at a record high, which is the highest in 30 years in May 2022 at 15.9. I will not go for a tedious repetition of how the prices have gone up, sir, but the excuse given needs to be looked into again, sir. When we spoke about the sunflower oil, they said the Ukraine war was the reason. I can say with full confidence, sir, it is not the Ukraine war. Ukraine also had a drought in 2021 also, in 2020. Russia had a export embargo for their essential commodities. But the war started in 22 of February, sir. So you cannot blame the Ukraine war for all the price rise which is happening in our country. And then secondly, sir, when we see the petroleum price, I would not like to go into the full split up of that, but one issue which I'd like to bring to the House is the central taxes and the state taxes which make part of the entire pricing of a liter of petroleum product. In that, there are various taxes from Government of India, central governments, and one such tax which we notice is the agricultural cess, sir. The agricultural cess which says is 2.5 rupees per litre. Now this is being collected for agriculture, infrastructure and development cess, sir. During the course of the debate, many honorable members have pointed out that there has been a high inflation in Telangana and some other states. I would like to know, through the Honorable Finance Minister in a reply, what is the amount you spent on agriculture infrastructure? In the last 7 years, I haven't seen a single major irrigation project coming up in this country. I haven't seen any major incentives being given to the farmer, but in spite of the fact you've been collecting. For example, in my own state of Telangana, where you say the inflation is high, Telangana, from the most backward region in the country, before it became a state, has become one of the top 5 contributors to the Indian economy in a span of 7 years, sir. How did we have to do this? It could be achieved through the optimum utilization of our river waters, which meant a lot of expenditure had been incurred. Seeing the prosperity on Telangana, which is against the spirit of the federal structure on which the country thrives, they are trying to choke Telangana. You're trying to put curbs on our borrowings. You're trying to put curbs on various limitations. Now this way, the development of Telangana is one area which would be affected, sir. And I would request the Finance Minister that in the spirit of federalism, do not choke states which are progressing and which are contributing to the country, sir.
Thank you, Suresh.
Sir, finally, sir, one last point. Everything was spoken, one about the Russian war, sir, and the other was on the pandemic. But we have to see a lot of mismanagement happened even before the pandemic. It happened during demonetization. The Honorable Finance Minister spoke so highly of Raghuram Rajan and spoke about what he said in the Lok Sabha, sir. But I would like to quote one last before I close, sir. Raghuram Rajan has also said the other day in a conference in Raipur that Sri Lanka was an example of what happens when a country's politicians try to deflect a job crisis by targeting minorities. Your failures, your mismanagement should not be taken with pandemic as a reason. So with these words, sir, of course, had a lot, but with due respect to the chair, I thank you, sir.
Thank you. Suresh Reddy was former speaker, so he has experience of time management. Dr. K. Lakshman, 5 minutes.